Hi, you all. I hope all of you are keeping well and staying healthy. First of all, I'm so sorry for not creating any video, and it's been long. So today, finally, I've come up with a nice topic, which is actually how you can apply your critical skills permit. Since I don't like to create a content without actually doing a proper research and practically experiencing it on my own. So I want to share what I did when I applied for my critical skills visa. What are the documents which you had to prepare? What are the documents your employer need to work on and share it with you? Apart from this, I'll be definitely, sharing some more tips, my lessons learned. So without wasting any time, let's quickly start with the video. And I prepare a small slide to show you each of the steps. Um, and I hope it will help you. So let's start. I have made a list of few tips and keys, which actually help me. So I thought I'll start with those tips. First thing is to plan. So create a list of all the steps in detail so that you know where you are going, what is the to-do list, how you need to plan. So planning is really important. Second thing is don't listen to so many people. Take guidance from someone in your company or take inputs from your friend who has actually experienced it. Last one is proofread. So ask someone at your workplace, either your HR or mentor, to actually proofread your application, especially the essays. So when you actually fill the form, there are few questions which are essay-based questions, and you need to write your SOP and everything. So ensure that you are actually keeping some time to get it proofread. The next slide which I have is about eligibility guideline. So who is eligible for a critical skills employment permit? So basically, who all will be applying for this permit would generally know, whether they are eligible or not. Um, so there are two criteria. The first one is an annual salary of at least 32,000 a year in an occupation that is on the critical skills occupation list. So there's a critical skill occupation list which you can refer and check whether your occupation actually falls under this list or not. The second one is an annual salary of 64,000 a year in an occupation that is not on the list of ineligible occupations. So there are these links which is on the website. I'll share the link of the website in the description. You can open it and you can actually check the list. You cannot get a permit to work for a company where more than 50% of the employees are non-EEA nationals. This requirement may be waived in the case of startup companies which are supported by Enterprise Ireland or IDA Ireland. You must apply for the permit before you come to Ireland. If you already live in Ireland and have a valid IRP with stamp 1, 1A, 2, 2A, or 3 permission, you can apply for the permit if you actually satisfy the criteria for the permit. So that's the eligibility guideline. And anyways, if you're already in Ireland, your company would know, whether you can actually apply for this or not. Next slide. So basically, I have actually, before coming to the steps, there are a few things which I wanted to share about the eligibility criteria, about, some keys, about some legislations, how you can apply, and some basic info on this, visa type. The next slide which I have is how to apply. So either you or the employer can actually apply for this visa. There's a link which, the website link, which I'll be sharing it with you. And in the future, in next few slides, I'll be telling you how you can do it and, which is how you can do it online. What is the system? The next one is fee, regarding a fee. So either you or your employer must pay a fee of 1,000 euros if your application is refused. you will get 90% of your application fee back after you have applied. So basically, they have mentioned, the application processing time on their website. If your application is refused, you must be given the specific reasons it was refused. If it was refused, you can actually put an appeal on this decision within 28 days. And there's a form, which you can submit um, and put an appeal. And the form is also available on the website. The next thing which I wanted to talk about is immigration and registration. So if your application is successful and you live outside of Ireland, you still have to apply for a visa to enter Ireland. If you are from a country whose citizens need a visa to enter Ireland, you must present your employment permit to the immigration officers at the airport. You must register with your local registration office in the area where you intend to live when you arrive in Ireland. Once you're registered, you will get an IRP. If you're already living in Ireland on another immigration permission, you must go to your local registration office to change your registration permission. So here, we are talking about two scenarios wherein a person is already living in Ireland, and the second scenario is wherein the person is not in Ireland. Okay. The next slide which I have is info on family and de facto partners. So people who have a critical skills employment permit can actually bring their family to live with them in Ireland, and there's a separate process for that. Whatever was written on site, I've mentioned it in the slide as well if you want to read. There's a small section for pre-clearance for de facto partners. So de facto partner is someone with whom you are in a committed relationship. And again, if that person is, from a country whose citizens need a visa to enter Ireland, then again, there's a whole process around it. If that person is from a country whose citizens do not need a visa to enter Ireland, then there's a pre-clearance which is required. And again, you can refer the whole process. I'm not going to talk about it in this video. And again, there's a note for children as well. Like children must also apply the same way as de facto partners. The next slide is about application fee. So the fee for critical skill employment permit must be paid by the applicant. The applicant can be the employer, the employee, a connected person or contractor, or an authorized agent. Payments from businesses are made by electronic fund transfer, so EFT. The fee is, as I said, it's €1,000, and the duration is up to 2 years. If an application is refused or withdrawn, 90% of the fee will be refunded to the applicant. The fee for registering with immigration and getting an ERP is €300, which again, you will be doing it. So, whenever you'll be going for the renewal of IRP. In the next slide, I have few helpline numbers and email addresses. So sometimes it happens that you require some assistance, you need some help, you're not getting any reply, and you're getting anxious. So that's the reason I've mentioned the email address which they had mentioned on the website, and the telephone number as well, which you can dial in case you need any support. Now we will, come to the steps which actually I have prepared based on my experience. So step one, which is the right skill suitable for your application and experience. So you need to decide like which is the right skill type which is suitable as per your experience and qualification. So I've mentioned two steps which you can actually follow. So open the latest critical skills list. So when I say latest, I've observed that in a year time or 2 years time, they keep on updating the critical skill list. So it's anyways, effective if you refer the latest one. So ensure that the one which you are referring is the latest one. Check all the categories And when you are actually checking it, highlight the ones which you think are even slightly connected with your profile. So just take a marker or a highlighter and just keep on highlighting it. The next step, which I've mentioned, is pick a category which gives you confidence to foresee that you'll be able to explain and link your qualification experience. So, for example, if you have actually highlighted three categories, let's say, then go into detail, check the description, what they have mentioned, open your job description, and try to, um, either try to gain some confidence within yourself that whether you'll be able to link that specific skill with your job description or not, because you anyways have to write a whole SOP, as I said in the at the start of the video. So you have to actually gain that confidence. The next step is download the application form. So I'm sharing the link in the description for you to start with your online application. You need to follow this path. Open the link, and then you'll see this page which says "Welcome to Employment Permits Online." Below that, there's a notice which they have mentioned obviously, and then there'll be two options. One is "Help me choose employment permit application form." And then the second one is I will select employment permit application form from the list. So you can select the first one, which it will assist you. So you can select help me one. Yeah. Once you select that, there will be another window which will open, and it will ask you what type of employment permit do you wish to apply for, and you can select critical skills employment permit. Once you select that, it will ask you some details, and you can click on proceed, and there'll be some few more steps, once you click on proceed, and there'll be a work ID which will be generated. So ensure that you are copying that work ID and saving it somewhere on the notepad, or so that you don't actually forget that the work ID. Um, and another thing which I actually want to mention about this thing called resume work. So on the extreme right hand side, on the top, there's a option for resume work. So it's not like you will start the application and then you have to finish it on the same day and time. You can actually resume it later on as well in case you want to. The next step, which is step 3, make a to-do list. So as I said, even when I was starting the video as well, planning, planning, planning. So it's all about how you are planning it, how you are organizing yourself, how you are even putting deadlines. Sometimes people tend to, not to put deadlines, and because of which they kind of delay their application. So it's always good to plan, to be more organized, put deadlines, create your own list accordingly. And lastly, don't forget to proofread, which I'm saying it. I've said it so many times. There's a note as well which I've mentioned. Your plan should include collection of all documents from your employer as well as the ones you need to work on. So when you're planning it, you need to plan it accordingly, because you need to collect some documents from your employer, and what happens when there's a dependency on the work. So you need to keep some time to follow up on the documents which you require from your employer. The next step is fill the application form. So finally, we are filling the application form. So you can actually start filling the application form as much as you can, just for a start, and mark the areas wherein you need to contact your company HR business partner or mentor, or you think you need someone's help. So mark those areas. I'll come to a few areas in the form later in the video. So there are a few areas wherein I actually want to, give you some context and give you some, ideas and tips as well. Coming to documentation, you can refer this, which I have again, researched and created it on my own. So what all you need from your employer? First thing, tax clearance cert. So you need a tax clearance cert from employer. Number of employees letter. So your employer will give you a letter, which is a kind of they'll mention how many employees are there in their company and all that, which actually suffixes the eligibility criteria, which talks about 50% of employees should be EU nationals. Okay, ROI screenshot. So it is nothing but monthly employer pay return submission. So um, it depends from company to company. You can this is something which your someone from the finance department can give it to you. These are the three things which you need from the employer, and then coming to your the personal docs which you require. First one is, which is the main one, is the application form. Second, the contract or the offer letter. Third one, passport and visa. So visa is nothing but your GNID, IFP, and everything. Front and back. So ensure that you are taking right photos. Passport, passport size photo. Pay slips, 3 months at least. Qualification. So all training certs, your degree, everything. So whatever you have actually given to your employer, so everything, and you can actually combine all of it in one PDF and then keep it. Step 5, proofreading. So as I said earlier, find someone you think can help you with proofread your work. Could be your mentor in your company, could be your HR, could be your friend who has applied before. Because sometimes it happens that whenever you write it in your own zone, but later on when you you don't really get to know whether you are actually on the right path or not till the time someone else reads your work. So it's always good to ask someone to read your work. The next step is step 6, which talks about system upload and submitting your online application. So once you have okay, so there are again few steps. First step is make sure you have all the documents ready. So ensure that you have all the documents which your employer needs to give it to you, and all the documents which you have to prepare, including the application. The next step is open the same link which you have used to create your work ID. Use your ID and passport number to resume your work. So this is something which I mentioned, on the very first step, that you can actually resume your work. System will anyways guide you, with the steps. It will help you follow it. Don't forget to upload all mandatory documents. Again, so when you actually start uploading the documents, there are some mandatory ones. The mandatory ones are the documents which you have to upload. There's a note as well which I have mentioned. In case wherein employee hasn't started working, obviously won't have the payslips. So don't worry, it won't really affect your application. However, if you don't have the payslip, it must be difficult for you to calculate your salary before tax, which is a section in the application form. So I'll actually help you with the website which you can actually use to calculate your salary before after tax, and that's the link which you can actually refer. And when you open the link, you can actually put your yearly salary in here, click on the calculate button, and then it will give you a calculation of your before tax and after tax salary. So this is for the people who haven't really started their work yet and they don't have the payslips, so they can refer it. Okay. Um, there's a continuation of step 6. Some info on pay details. Um, Although like you can actually read it, it's not really that important, because you would actually have the details of your salary, before tax and after tax in that link. But I'll just quickly read it for you. So total annual salary amount, hourly and weekly rates of pay, number of hours of work each day, details, any deductions from salary and what deductions are for, confirm if deductions are taken for health insurance. Note on pay, critical skills employment permit must have a minimum salary of 32,000 based on a 39-hour week. So this is an hourly rate of pay of 15.78 euros. A 40-hour week must have a minimum salary of 32,820, where the minimum annual remuneration is 64,000. So this is based on a 39-hour week and an hourly rate pay of 31.56 euros. So there's some information which they have given about salary pay and details so that your employer can't actually fool you. So you can refer it. The next thing is again something which is people tend to forget. So sometimes it happens that you're getting an annual pay of 32,000. However, it includes bonuses, overtime, etc. So I've highlighted this thing. Salary refers solely to basic pay. Salary shall not include any bonuses, shift allowances, overtime, etc. So it should not include, and that's the reason I've included this slide to give you more information on pay and how you can calculate it and what exactly it is, what's the hour or per week it is based on. So it is always good to get more information on this thing as well. Okay, some more info on the application form. So this is something which I'm actually, you know, if you refer back to step 4, which talks about application form, there's some more information which I want to give. Three most important questions as in the form. Question 1, main functions of this job. So basically, refer your critical skill, what you have selected, and accordingly mention it. Um, and don't forget to actually, link your job description. So this is like one of the most important questions in the form, and it would take, more time of yours as well. The second question, detail the qualification, skills, knowledge, and experience of foreign national. So second question, basically you need to mention all of your qualification, skills, knowledge, experience, everything, and whatever you have done so far. Everything you need to mention in here. Um, Even the slightest thing you have done which is actually related to the skill you are applying for, mention that. The third question, detail the relevant qualification, skill, knowledge, and experience of our national. So there's a slight difference between second and third question. The third question, you need to mention the relevant qualification which is actually required for the job which you're applying for. So just mention the relevant ones. Don't mention anything which is unnecessary. So again, I would say refer your job description, talk to your HR, and ask everything, and then create a nice essay format which you can refer to plan and write the essay. So again, this is something which is totally my way. If you want to refer it, just feel free to refer it. If you don't want to use it, it's your wish. So the format which I actually used, it's a very simple one. Introduction. So introduce like what exactly you will be mentioning, what you'll be talking about. There should be a body of first, second, third para, or even it could be in points as well. So it depends how you want. So there should be a body of statements, and then finally at the end, it should conclude something. It should say like what especially the first question, which was main functions of the job. So specifically, I have used this technique, introduction, body, and conclusion thing, and I thought I'll be suggesting all of you as well in case you want to refer it. There's few tips as well which I have mentioned. The first one is like one of my favorite. Follow KISS approach. So it's nothing but keep things simple. So keep it very simple. Um, Keep it in a way that the person who is actually reading it doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know anything about your job, and you are actually explaining to that person like what you'll be doing and how you'll be helping this company, if you when you get this job. So keep it very simple. Use similar terminology used in the critical skill you have selected. So again, the terminology should be really, it should be similar to the one which is there in the list, critical skill list. So it should not vary, because generally what happens, people, you would know, but the person who is reading it may not be aware about your field, or, about the terminology. Third one is don't divert from point. So I've read, like, I've proofread many, essays, and I've observed this thing that people tend to divert from the point, like what they actually want to mention. So they tend to divert. So don't do that. Just talk, just be on point. If you don't want to write any para, don't write in para form. Just mention points in simple words. Read it 5 times, and proofread is must. So that's what really is. So basically, this video is for people who are, uh, you know, looking for some guidance. I would say once you start doing it, you will get the hang of it, and it does not include too much of documentation. It just, as I said, how you're planning it, how you are, writing it, how you are, creating your to-do list, how you are following it with people, collecting documentation. Additionally, feel free to drop a comment if you think I've missed something, or if you think you have any further questions, and I'll try my level best to answer. One last thing which wherein I need your help is, I'm getting really short of topics. So leave your suggestions if you want me to, you know, make more videos like these. Or if you are interested in blogs, or you know, just drop something, just drop your comments, and I'll definitely try, you know, um, to research more, and create more um, informative videos. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see each other again in the next video. Bye.